you always feel like you have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear? The problem isn't that you don't have enough clothes, it's that you're shopping wrong. Take it from an ex-shopaholic who used to waste thousands of dollars on clothes I barely wore. I can tell you with certainty that most of the mistakes that you feel like you're making in your wardrobe has nothing to do with not owning enough, but they have everything to do with why you're buying in the first place. So before you go ahead and add one more thing to your wardrobe, which will probably turn into a problem later, I'm gonna break down the real reasons why you hate your clothes. And the first one is something I think most of us do without even realizing it. And it's that you're using shopping to solve a problem, except you end up buying a problem instead. And you know what? That is not your fault. That completely makes sense. If what you already have isn't working, then the solution will be to go out and buy something new that does. But if that truly worked, then you still wouldn't feel the urge to shop all the time. And my guess is that you would probably love everything in your closet. There is a place for shopping when it comes to building out your wardrobe and developing your personal style, but the mistake that most people make is that shopping should actually be the last step, not the first. And that's because buying more stuff doesn't work if you don't know what to do with it. All shopping does is just give you more raw material to work with, which actually complicates the issue. When I think the real answer is actually in the closet you already have right now. Because think about it, you still haven't evaluated why you hate your wardrobe. You haven't thought about why you're feeling like in a style rut. You feel guilty for wasting money, your closet gets more and more cluttered and overwhelming. But I truly believe that if you're feeling frustrated with your wardrobe, then the first step to take is actually to pause shopping altogether. And the moment that you do take a pause on shopping and start breaking down what's already in your closet, you might be seeing this next reason why you absolutely hate your wardrobe. And that is because you've been shopping for the wrong person. Look to see if you've been shopping for your fantasy self instead of your actual self. And if that is you, don't feel bad because I did that for years. In fact, my fantasy self was the #1 person I shopped for. And you know what? The kind of sneaky thing about the fantasy self is that you're not necessarily even shopping for some wild or unrealistic version of you. Sometimes the fantasy self is just you who goes out to more dinners, more parties, goes to more fabulous vacations, or someone who can wear jeans working from home. The fantasy self isn't necessarily an unreachable version of you, and I think that's why we buy into them so easily, because we can picture it being true. But the disconnect still happens when you don't turn that fantasy version of yourself into a reality, which is how a lot of clothes end up sitting in your closet with the tag still on. And the solution here, I don't think, is to completely dismiss the fantasy self. There's obviously something natural about that version of yourself that you're attracted to. But it can become a problem when you're always shopping to become somebody new rather than adding things to your wardrobe that enhance the version of you that already exists. If you keep buying clothes that are totally out of alignment with your actual life, then you're never going to wear them. And then no wonder you feel guilty that you spent all that money and still hate your clothes. This next reason was such a truth bomb when I figured it out, and it was that you are being passive with your wardrobe instead of being active. And I learned the hard and kind of expensive way that that is actually the secret to finding your personal style. You need to be active with your closet. Style is not built by buying more stuff. Maybe it is later once you know your style, but if you're in the phases of trying to figure that out, you need to use what you already have and you need to get dressed. Because even if you stop shopping for your fantasy self today, you're still going to have the exact same problem if you don't learn how to use the clothes you already have. It's a skill that is built and developed over time, which means that you have to experiment, you have to repeat outfits, you have to shop your closet. But I think most of us don't actually do that. Think about it, especially in the age of algorithms and TikTok and Instagram, we feel like we're developing style by absorbing it passively online. And that passive consumption of taste and style is actually what drives you to want to buy more. But even when you do that, you're still missing that critical skill of how to wear the clothes and getting dressed. So now you're probably like, okay, well, Christina, great, but where do I start? That's so overwhelming. I have a ton of clothes. I can't even see what I have. But you know what? Good thing, because I came ready with a solution for you, and that is the app Indyx. They make the whole idea of shopping your closet so easy. And if you watch this channel, I know you love clothes, which means you probably have a lot of them. I know it's gonna sound like a huge project, but their new enhance feature makes it literally so easy. You literally just snap a photo of the item right there on the hanger, and in seconds, it's gonna clean it up into this aesthetic and product style image for you. And Indyx has a new virtual selfie feature that makes getting dressed in the outfits you create so much easier. Like, I have 245 outfits that I made on here, and actually some of you guys made on here, because side note, on Indyx, you can see my closet and style my clothes for me. So if you want to style my own closet, make sure you follow me on there. Sometimes I don't want to like go and try them all on and see if they actually work in real life. So Indyx's new virtual selfie feature lets you try on the clothes and see what it looks like on your own body. You just go ahead and upload a selfie one time and you can see what the outfits look like on you instead of in just a flat lay, which is sometimes a bit harder to imagine. Honestly, Indyx has been an amazing tool to help build the skill of shopping your own closet and learning to style what you already have. And they make your clothes look so good that you're like, yeah, I do have good taste. Let me go put that on right now. Not to mention, just being able to see everything at a glance is so helpful, because let's be real, if there's stuff buried in the back of your closet, you're gonna forget that you even owned it. So if you're really sick of always feeling like you have nothing to wear or just don't know what to do with the clothes you already have, you can download Indyx completely for free. It's available on iOS and Android, and I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description for you to check it out. And when they ask who inspired you to try, just write down my name so they know that I sent you. And I would be so thrilled for you to check them out. Plus, maybe you can style me an outfit. I love to see what you guys come up with my own clothes. It's really cool. Now I want to talk about something that I feel like has plagued most of us for the past like 5 or 6 years when it comes to fashion content, and I even participated in this myself, so I need to be held accountable here, and that is the entire capsule wardrobe fallacy. We all fell for it, okay guys? I get it. I think we were sold an idea that all you needed to do was buy these 10 wardrobe staples that showed up on some kind of Pinterest infographic and you'd be done. And for some of us, that might be true, especially if you have more classic, minimal style, you love neutrals. That could be true. And if the capsule wardrobe in that sense works for you, I love that for you. But I've heard of this sentiment from a lot of you guys over the years, and it's that you don't want to look the same as everybody else, and two, those staple wardrobe basics like a blazer, a button down, etc., don't work for you. And it's not that you bought the wrong basics, but you probably bought the wrong basics for you, which could be the reason why you feel like you hate your wardrobe. So instead of blindly following some kind of Pinterest infographic or marking things off on a checklist, you need to figure out what you naturally gravitate towards and what those closet staples are for you. For me, a closet staple is a pair of jeans, a white tank top, and maybe a blazer as a layering piece. For you, it could be really cool maximalist patterns or a really romantic blouse, or maybe you're a skirt person rather than a trousers or jeans person. And there's really only a few types of garments in every category, but to say that everybody needs a plain white crew neck crop t-shirt would be wrong. So where an essential t-shirt for me would be something like this, for you it could be something that is v-neck or flowy or oversized or a baby tee. Or maybe white is not in your color palette and you look better in a cream or even a bright and bold color or pattern. And either way, you're not really gonna figure this out until you spend some time in your own closet. You can upload things on Indyx to identify patterns and see what you gravitate towards. But the more you narrow down what your closet staples are for you, the easier it's going to be to shop and understand what it is you like and why. So don't worry about the checklist and just focus more on what you actually like to wear in your style. There's a great video essayist here on YouTube, Mina Lay, who I think put this next point perfectly. And she said, I can tell your amount of screen time based on your outfit. And I gotta say, ouch, when I heard that. But I think it's the perfect way to demonstrate this next reason why you hate all your clothes, and that is because you are outsourcing your taste in the wrong places. Before the advent of things like aesthetics or whatever core, like Barbie core, norm core, whatever, all these core aesthetics, your taste and your style used to be built off of life experiences and things that you enjoyed. They could be from your cultural traditions, who your friends were, how you grew up, the music that you listened to, the magazines and the books that you read, the movies that you watched. And now it just seems like all of the quote unquote taste makers are someone that you just find on TikTok or Instagram. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong, but I do think that's why a lot of people end up feeling like everybody looks the same when it comes to style, and why certain trends cycle in and out so quickly. If all you're using is the internet and influencers to develop your personal style, it's going to feel a little bit empty, and it does run the risk, to me, I think, of feeling a little bit mismatched and copycat. So I think it's really important here to make sure that you're diversifying your inspiration when it comes to developing your style and figuring out what it is you actually like, which I think is just really gonna help you stop from buying things that you end up regretting later. Because they weren't actually your style, they were just a style that someone told you to have. But I actually think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to their wardrobes, and is probably a huge reason why you hate your clothes, this happens before you even get dressed in the morning. And it's the whole idea that you think that you need to look different every day. As in, you need to be wearing a completely different outfit every day, and God forbid if you wear that same thing twice. And I get it, because we're often shown wardrobes that just create an endless stream of new outfits, and even if you looked in your own wardrobe now, a lot of us could probably go weeks without having to wear the same thing twice. But the single biggest game changer for me when it came to shopping less, shopping more intentionally, and genuinely falling back in love with my wardrobe was the idea of having a style uniform. And this does not mean that you have to wear the exact same thing every single day. All it means is that you've figured out your go-to formula. So for me, it's jeans and a t-shirt with some kind of blazer. For you, it could be a button-down and some flowy trousers. Or maybe your style uniform is an equation of one in that you always like to wear dresses. The pieces themselves may change, but the blueprint stays pretty much the same. And in theory, this can sound really unappealing and boring, but I truly believe that that is the key to building a wardrobe that you love, that actually works for you. Once you figure out your style uniform, which by the way is already sitting there in your closet, and all you really need to do is just track your outfits for a week and just see what you gravitate towards, it is going to make getting dressed so much easier because you will already have a foundation that you know feels like yourself. But you know what? At the end of the day, you probably don't hate your clothes as much as you think you do. They're probably just buried under piles of old impulse buys and things that you bought that you probably didn't even really want to begin with. So before you can truly fall back in love with the clothes you already have, you need to get rid of what's in the way first. So watch this video next where I break down why getting rid of your stuff is probably one of the best decisions that you could possibly make. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.